Good morning, lovely spirits. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. Peace and wisdom. Now, today I want to do this very deep video discussing the Bible. What if I told you the biblical character Noah was a scientist, a meteorologist, an astrologist, many different forms of science, but he was a scientist. And this is how he knew the flood was coming. Grasp. The Bible says this. And I'm going to go into all of that. But what if I told you that Noah knew the flood was coming, and the story in the Bible had to do with his morality? It had nothing to do with history. Not to say it's not a real event, but the point of that story being told was a matter of morality. Can the reader grasp? And it's a deep thing I want to go into in this video. The Bible is like a secret book of morality. If the reader has morality, he will grasp. If the reader does not have morality, he will fall subject to the Satan, which is the flesh of the book. So I want y'all to grasp. The Satan is the self-praise, the self-worship, the selfish aspect of a person, overriding the morality. So it's a deep thing. I want to explain in this video how everyone in the Bible fell to their Satan, except Jesus. Moses, Abraham, Noah, everyone fell to their Satan except Jesus. And this is why when Jesus was offered all the kingdoms of the world and he was tempted by the flesh or the self, he declined. And this is why it was called the Satan. But when everyone else obliged to the Satan, it was called God. But you know it's the Satan because they're offered the same thing always. Land and people to rule over. But I want to go more in deep so that you guys grasp. First thing I want to do, though, is explain the Satan and the God in the Bible. Because they're one and the same, and people do not understand this when they're reading the Bible. This is why it becomes fussy. See, God started off in the void, which is the bottomless pit, before he created the heavens and the earth. So you have to grasp. The Satan and the God are one and the same. And it's the duality that's within all living beings. The spirit is the God, but it has no dominion. It is like it understands the allness in the life, the oneness with everything, so it doesn't raise itself above. Now the flesh is what weighs on the morality, the spirit, because the flesh is for self, the Satan. It rises itself above others. It puts itself first. This is why we eat other life forms with no true acknowledgement of what we're doing, because you put yourself first. So all this life was here for you to eat. No one told you that, but you told yourself that. And so you eat. And it's a deep thing. But I want you guys to look at something. First, we're going to discuss Jesus and Abraham. And I want y'all to see something very interesting. Now, I'm going to read straight from the Bible because I don't alter the text in any way. I just want to help you guys understand, because it's very important. The morality. We have to reach for morality. This is why we don't understand so many things in life, because they deal with the matter of your morality. If you have morality, you will grasp. If you don't, you will fall subject to self. So it's a deep thing, this book here. Now, I'm a biblical scholar, so I don't want anyone to get lost and think I'm just a brother talking. About to break down some deep stuff for y'all. Now go to Luke chapter 4, verse 5 through 7. And this is discussing when Jesus was tempted by the Satan when he spent 40 days in the wilderness. And what it says is this. Chapter 4, verse 5 through 7. It says this. Then the devil, taking him up on a high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. And the devil said to him, all this authority I will give you in their glory. For this has been delivered to me, and I give it to whom I choose. Therefore, if you will worship before me, all will be yours. And this is the offer that the Satan made to Jesus. He offered him all the kingdoms of the world, and he offered him all the subjects of it, meaning the people. And it's a deep thing I want y'all to grasp. If you go to Genesis 15, verse 5 through 7, it says, then he brought him outside and said, now look towards heaven and count the stars if you are able to number them. And he said to him, so shall be your descendants. And he believed in the Lord, and he accounted it to him for righteousness. Then he said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to inherit. Now this is Abraham being tempted by the Satan, but it's called God because he obliged. So Abraham obeyed God because Abraham wanted children. So you have to grasp. Abraham had his first child with his maid. Abraham had maids. Rich men are evil. They're selfish. Men are poor because men are rich. Meaning the rich man has more than he needs, so he has someone share. Now Abraham had maids. And he had his first child with his maid. So he was tempted by the self, the flesh. He overlooked his morality. He overlooked his wife and said, I want children. And therefore the Satan was able to enter him through that desire. And this is why God offered him land and said that the descendants of the land shall be yours to inherit. And it's the point. He's seducing him through his desires. And so Abraham went on his way. But he never accomplished anything if you truly grasp. He never got land because Satan is a liar. It's a deep thing people don't grasp. It's just like when you're dealing with Jesus in Luke chapter 4, verse 1 through 13. And it says, then Jesus, being filled with the Holy Spirit, returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. We think he was led by the Satan into the wilderness. He was led by self, his spirit, his morality. I need to go to the forest where there's no city. Because down here by the Jordan, everyone is following me. They're raising me up. They're offering me things. This is starting to tamper with my morality. So the Spirit, his Spirit, led him to the wilderness, the forest, so that he could shake the physical desires that were starting to overtake him. You begin to get offered things when you're very wise. Brother, teach this. Do this. Things that go against your morality. Women offering you sex and things start to make your morality sway. So Jesus understood this. So this is why I said, then Jesus being filled with the Holy Spirit, meaning his spirit, which is of God. This is the morality. The flesh is the Satan of self. He was filled with the Holy Spirit and returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, being tempted for 40 days by the devil, the flesh. So the whole time he was in the wilderness, his physical flesh was tempting him, meaning, I'm hungry, eat. When you don't eat and you get hunger pains, this is your flesh. Your fleshly desires beginning to weigh on your spirit. So it said being tempted for the devil for 40 days, meaning his physical was battling with his spiritual. And this is why he went into the forest, because there's no distractions. There's no influence. It's just you and the life. So Jesus was very, very wise according to the scriptures. And it says after those 40 days, he ate nothing. And afterward, when they had ended, he was hungry. And the devil said to him, if you are the Son of God, command the stone to become bread. And Jesus answered him and said, man can't sustain himself off bread alone. He was shaking the temptations of self, because he's ready to dive back into eating now when eating leads to the rest. So it's a very deep thing you have to grasp. Then the devil took him up on a high mountain, and he do what the devil always do, offered him land. But for Jesus, he offered him all the land of the world and all the men of it. Jesus declined. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. When you go to Genesis 15, 5 through 7, Abraham did not decline. When the Lord offered him descendants and to be father of a nation of people and have his own land. This is why Abraham left his family's land to get his own. Because he was tempted by the self, not being satisfied with what he had. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Now I want you to notice how you have Genesis 15, verse 5 through 7, and you have Luke chapter 4, verse 5 through 7. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Everyone in the Bible fell to their Satan. The word God is used because God is a dominion thing. It is what Satan was cast away for raising himself above others, being the most high. So when you hear the word God, you're supposed to have morality to know God is the Satan. Now when you're dealing with the Bible, the Satan tempts Eve first, then Cain, and it's called Satan, so that you get an understanding of how he works, how he tempts, how he tricks. From that moment on, he's referred to as God, because by now you're supposed to know how the Satan works and how he tempts. So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. When the Satan tempted Moses, we believe it to be God. But y'all don't grasp. Y'all overlook y'all morality. You overlook that Moses was a murderer. You overlook that Moses was rich and a part of the higher class of people. He was already one of the rulers in Egypt. He was ruler over the army for war. This is all negative things. But you overlook your morality and you say Moses was a good, just man. Now grasp. Moses was in the wilderness for 40 years. And the bush burned. And it tempted him. Go free those people. But you have to grasp. Did Moses free them, or did Moses make himself their leader? So it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Moses freed the Israelites, the Hebrews. He freed them from Pharaoh to be under his rulership. Because you have to grasp. Now the Hebrews had to follow what Moses said. So when you reason your morality, How was Moses any different than Pharaoh? See, Moses was bringing them to the promised land so they can build up the land, which they were already doing in Egypt. So Moses' cost was no different than Pharaoh's. Moses' cost was his. Therefore, in Moses' eyes, it was just. These are my people. I should rule over them, not Pharaoh. So you have to grasp. Moses fell to the Satan. He had no morality. Because for the Hebrew people, they were not free. Just look at the Bible. They didn't want to be with Moses. They rather be with the Pharaoh. But he wouldn't let them. Grasp how deep that is. Read the Bible. The Hebrews was like, man, we out here in the desert starving. We was better off with Pharaoh. They didn't want to be with him. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. They wanted to make calves, golden calves, and worship and do whatever they wanted. And Moses wanted to give them 10 commandments, which is law, from his God. Because they knew nothing of Moses' God. Whereas, this is what he told them. And they just went with it because they feared Moses. Because he was now their ruler. It's a deep thing you have to grasp. It's a book of morality. If you have no morality, when you read it, you will see all the unjust things happening as good and overlook it and say, it's God. So it's a deep thing. Now Moses, we all see Moses as a good, just man in the daytimes. But was he truly? What was different? Did the Hebrews ever get their land? No. Why? Because they kept following men that were lost in their Satan. See, Moses freed the Hebrews to give them their own land. But they never got their own land. All they did was get ruled by Moses from that day of freedom till the day he died. So he freed them to rule over them till the day of his death, and he passed off his rulership of them to his brother. And they were ruled by him, never being free. And the Israelites are fucked till this day because of that reason. This is how you know Moses was wrong. And it wasn't God, but the Satan that he failed to. This is why his cause did not work. It's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. Now we're going to go to Noah, because Noah is the deepest story in the Bible. Here lies a man who let the whole world die. He had wisdom to save the whole world. Noah. Babies. He had the power. But he let the whole world die so he could have the whole world to himself. In his reasoning, the whole world was bad and he was good. Him and his family was good, but the whole world was bad. Now Noah and his family wasn't no different than the rest of the life. Noah had sex, he had kids. Noah ate food, which is life, no different than others. Noah was a murderer. He let the whole world die. So he truly was no different than anyone else in the life that he judged. He judged the world. Fell to his Satan. It don't matter if God told him, let everyone die. The moment he was given the wisdom that the flood was coming, and the moment he decided, I'm going to save myself and my family, in that moment he could have saved the whole life. He could have changed the whole world's evil ways by saving them from the flood and saying, look, and influenced them through good. Noah said, let everyone die so I can keep the world to myself. Now grasp how you just overlooked all that morality and you said, no, Noah was a good, just man. But he wasn't. There was no God that tempted him. It was the Satan. It was the flesh. It was the self. See, Noah was a scientist. And many people overlook this in the Bible. But I want y'all to grasp, who besides a scientist would know how to build a submarine or a boat to save themselves? Who would know that a flood is coming? An astrologist, a meteorologist. And Noah was all these things, and I want to show y'all this because it's a very deep thing. People read through the Bible, but they skip over the genealogy part. And that's the most important part, the genealogy part. See, it lets you know that Noah was a scientist. Now we're going to go to Genesis chapter 5, verse 29. And this is when it's breaking down the genealogy. In fact, we're going to go to verse 28 first and then read into 29. Now, verse 28 says, Lamech lived 182 years and had a son. And he called his name Noah, saying, this one will comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed. Now, what makes our work easier? Science. What makes growing and sowing easier? Science. Because now you know when it's going to rain, you know the weather, you know the different sciences of the life. So it said, and he called his name Noah, saying, this one will comfort us concerning our work and the toil of our hands. Science is why y'all don't work as hard with your hands. It's our technology. These are the things that lessens the load of the toil and work that we do with our hands. Grass. If there were no cranes, you'd be out there digging with a shovel. So grass. Noah was a scientist, and this is how Noah knew the flood was coming. See, you have to read through the genealogy of the Bible. Noah's cousin, Tubal-Cain, he was a mineralogist. He fashioned metal. This is a deep science to know how to smelt metal, know the different properties of the metal, their chemical reactions. Tubal-Cain know all of this because he made weapons. Grass. You got to know how to smelt. It's a deep thing. In Noah's family line, you had many scientists and people that were in agriculture. Y'all view these people as uncivilized people that knew nothing. They knew what we knew today. Noah was a scientist. This is how Noah knew a flood was coming. God is the Satan, which is the self, the flesh. So because of his fleshly wisdom, meaning he was a scientist, because of his wisdom, he knew a flood was coming. Now this is a cosmic, you can say a cosmic annual thing that happens all the time in life. Every 12.5 or every 25,000 years, there's a world flood. So the same things happen in life. And if you understand astrology, the movement of the stars and the constellations, you understand weather, which Noah did, then you'd know, oh man, a flood is coming. So our meteorologists of today, they know when rain, snow, things like this is coming. Noah was a great scientist of his day. He was the first. So grass. He ended the toil and the discomfort of the labor with the hands. He was the first scientist, meaning like astrologist. Deeper than Tubal-Cain, but he was like a man of many sciences. Now this is how Noah knew the flood was coming. And here's where the reasoning comes in. Because Noah could have not judged the world. He could have stayed within his morality and not judged everyone in the life. Because no one in the life was truly any different than he was. Grass. They may have been a little more carried away. This man sins more than that man. That man sins more than this man, but all sins. This is why thou shalt not judge. But Noah judged. He said, man, everybody is bad. And I'm good. So I'm not telling them that a flood is coming. I'm going to let them all die. Even babies who didn't have a chance to even show their morality or let it blossom. They can die too because they're one with their fathers. So you see the morality of Noah. Even if God is telling him this, he went with it. Look at the morality in it. Grasp. He let the whole world die. Grasp how deep that is. Noah had the ability to save the whole world. His morality was, it ain't my fault they don't know. I was bestowed with the wisdom to know, and I'm keeping it for myself. And me and my family is going to enjoy this whole world to ourselves. Fuck everybody else because they're bad. Grasp the morality of that. He's going to keep the whole world to himself. Not, oh, I need my own piece of life to be separate for them, and I'll let evil run its course into life, because this is what you're supposed to do. That's not his morality. His morality is, let him die, not my problem. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp, the morality of Noah. Now, it's a cold-blooded thing, because Noah's children, they were no better than the rest of the people that he judged. Grasp. His son seen him naked and molested him. So his son Ham was a homosexual, just like those that he were judging. He was a murderer. He murdered the whole world by not saving them. But in his eyes, no, I'm good. They're all bad. They murder. Me and my kids are good. My kids ain't homosexuals. This is why it explained how Noah got drunk. He was a drunk. But he judged the rest of the life. But you see how that worked? He judged them for being drunkards. He judged them for being sodomists. He judged them for all these things, for being gay. And he said, this is just for them dying. And then after they all died, Noah became a drunk. You get so drunk you fall asleep butt naked in front of your son. He molests you because he ain't no different than the rest of the people you judge. So you see how the life goes right back to how it was. Noah let the whole world die so that the world could go right back to how it was, because that wasn't for him to do. The Bible is showing you the morality. It's so cold-blooded. Noah did all of that. You let the whole world die, you judged them for being evil, and then when it all boiled down to it, you wasn't no different. You and your family wasn't no different than everybody else. One of your sons was a homosexual, he molested you. You was a drunk and a murderer of the whole world. You was worse than any individual. Grasp how deep that is. He let the whole world die. And y'all overlook this because you have no morality either. God is popular. So if God says anything, you overlook your morality. You overlook how Noah let the whole world die. I don't think y'all understand that if Noah's a real person, or was, he's in hell right now for letting the whole world die. Woo, those spirits are waiting on that ass, buddy. You can't cheat the life. You can't tell the spirits in the life when you die. God told me to do this. Who? What? Nigga? And your ass is wrapped up in hell. It's a deep thing. All those that follow you is all those that's going to smother you and bring you down. That's going to be your hell. Stars, famous stars, they created their hell. All the people that follow them, they begin to troll them, and they begin to torment them. And then they turn into Kanye West. You don't rule over men. You don't raise yourself above men. And this is why I curse y'all out every chance I get. Because y'all ain't going to raise me up. And this is what I always tell y'all. I'm not famous. I'm silent. I'll smoke a blunt right on the thing to let you know. Don't matter how wise I am, I'm stupid too. So don't follow me. Follow the goddamn life. I'm telling you to follow the life. I'm pointing you into the way. And I'm showing you the wisdom that the life bestows on me. So that you grasp, I'm not pointing you to the wrong direction. I'm not pointing you to myself and saying, let me be over all of you guys. This is why I go at the other teachers and I say, look, they're stupid and they're goofy. To show you, there's no fear. Men are not supposed to rule over other men and raise themselves up. So I embarrass them in wisdom. You're not wise. You're nobody. I know you got more followers than me, but I want them to see how I disrespect you so they know you're nobody and I'm wiser than you. And I'm not telling your following to come to me. I say go to the life. Fuck that nigga. Go to the life. Let me guide you. But he's a nobody. He's lost in his Satan. And it's no disrespect to the teachers, because I view them the same as the following. They have to grasp. They're raised up high, so they gonna fall harder than the following. But all must grasp and go back to the life, because y'all are getting lost. Y'all are reading these things with no morality, and you're missing the point. Noah was not a good man. Only a scientist would know how to build a boat. You say God told him how to build a boat. If I told you right now verbally how to build a boat, you still wouldn't be able to do it unless you were already skilled in that field. This is why, if you want to put it into God's perspective, I already explained God is the Satan, which is the self, the flesh, and the desires of the self. But if you want to stay lost in God and say, but God told him how to build the boat, he still had to know how to build boats to understand what God was telling him. Because like I said, if someone told you right now how to build a boat, you still wouldn't know how until they physically showed you. They would have to build the boat for you first. Grasp. God would have had to build the boat for Noah before Noah learned how to build the boat, unless Noah already had the wisdom in that craft. And it's like I said, Noah was a scientist of his day already. He already had this wisdom. God taught him nothing. The Satan, the self, you know, your subconscious that be talking to you, that, the Satan, the flesh, the God, was talking to him. And it offered him the whole world. Hey man, I know a flood is coming. And you know what? I'll let them all die and keep the world for myself. Now, you can bullshit yourself, but I'm not altering nothing. That's the reality. Noah decided to keep the world for himself. He could have went against God and said, you know what? I'll suffer so that everyone else lives, and I'm going to save them. I'm going to go against God's judgment and save them anyway, because I know I can. And it's only fair that I saved them, because God say I'm better than them, but I'm truly not. This is why I always tell y'all, I ain't no better than y'all. I'm just smarter. But I ain't no different. I curse. I show y'all these things for a reason. Remember, I'm recording myself. I don't have to post a video of myself smoking, listening to Damian Marley. But it's for you to grasp you have no morality, because I know some of y'all are going to judge me. Others are going to follow and say, man, Silas is cool, he's smoking. And then there's others of you that have morality, and you know, Silas is just a man. But he's very wise, and I think I know what he's doing, because he doesn't have to post that. He's doing that for a reason. Then right after that video, I get right back to the knowledge. Brother say, man, Silas lost his mind. They seen the smoking video. Silas lost it. And then right after that, an hour later, I post another video. And I'm right back sharp, ain't nothing changed. It's just a lesson for for you to learn. My actions, my words. It's all lessons. Go to the light. I'm telling y'all, because y'all gonna die in the same state of consciousness that y'all in now. I want you to see how low your morality is. Because you've seen all these things in the Bible, and you've overlooked all of them, and you said, well, it's just because God said. How is anything just that you know is not just because anybody said? And y'all do this in life. Y'all overlook a bad man because he's your friend. So because he's your friend, he's not bad. You support him in his cause. Y'all follow bad men because they're famous and y'all like them, but you overlook your morality. So it's a deep thing. It don't just stay with the book. You don't just overlook what God did in the book, but you overlook everything in the life. You see how y'all set aside y'all morality? This is why I keep telling y'all this is hell that we in. And y'all don't have no morality. Finding what's within, the spirit within, which is the morality, the understanding that all is one, and you have to begin to view things in that nature. I'm my brother's keeper. I am one with everything in life. What is good for me is good for others. What is bad for me is bad for others. And you have to begin to view things in that way. If Noah felt it is good for me to save myself with the knowledge that I have, then it is good for me to save the rest of the life. How am I going to leave them? Oh, because they're bad and I'm good? No, that's not reality, brother. Brother, it's just not. You're one with them. You may not be as bad as they are, but don't get it lost. You're in hell with them, buddy. So how do you do this? And this is why I teach y'all. I could keep the wisdom for myself and say, man, fuck them. They get on my nerves. I teach them. They still talk shit. They don't donate and give and receive. They don't do none of these things. They don't repay me in any way. They just repay me with their negativity, telling me I'm wrong and dumb things like this. Now, if I was lost in my Satan and self, what do you think I would do? Exactly. Take everything down. Put a price tag on it. Push it out. Disconnect myself with y'all. Raise myself above y'all. Man, they stupid. They ain't shit. This is why I curse y'all out. I'm never too high to come down. I'm here with y'all. Grasp. I have morality. So my end is not your end, but your end could be mine. And I'm trying to help y'all, but y'all don't grasp. Y'all think life is a movie. You think the spiritual is a different side of the life than the physical, when the spiritual may not necessarily even be a real thing, and you tend to within self just because you don't know much. You like, man, I'll deal with all that when it comes. But I want you to grasp, when you go to sleep and you dream, your body ain't involved. Yet you still feel, you're still conscious, and you have your dream and you live in your reality. So grasp, when you die, there's no body, but you still exist. And how you think and your conscience is going to be the same. When you dream, it ain't no different. You still think the same way you thought before you went to sleep. And you're going to think the same way you thought when you die. A slave-minded person going to look to be led. And only people that lead are those that lost in their Satan. Grasp. Moses lost in his Satan. You know that. Why? Because when he freed the Israelites, he didn't say, okay, now scatter abroad and go wherever you want. You're free. Oh, y'all building golden calves? Got nothing to do with me, but y'all are free. And this was the purpose. No, he gave them rules. They already had rules. They already had work. What did Moses do? He freed them from that and gave them rules and work. And they had to fight and be soldiers for his cause. Because you have to remember, when they were fighting Pharaoh, they didn't want to. They didn't see the point. They like, why are we leaving Egypt? We built Egypt up. We the slaves that built up Egypt. So why we leaving? It ain't that bad there. Moses said, yes it is. It's bad there. And shut the fuck up and come follow me. I'm going to rule over y'all. And that's truly what happened. Tempted by the self. Moses felt like, man, I can't go back. See, you got to remember, Moses was the ruler of the army. He was right-hand man to the Pharaoh. So Moses was a leader and a ruler over nations. That whole nation. And he was honored and revered. And then he fucked up and killed somebody, causing him to have to run. And he ran to the wilderness. And he was there for 40 years with nobody to rule over. And you know how it is with men that lead and rule. When they ain't got no subjects to rule over, they get uneasy. And that Satan starts up, which is the self, the selfly desires, start to creep all up on that neck, boy. And Moses said, man, I miss ruling people. And next thing you know, it's not fair that Pharaoh gets to rule over them. Next thing you know, oh no, they my people. I need to go get them because I should be their leader, not Pharaoh. Moses did not free them so they could be free. He freed them and he ruled over them. And then he appointed Aaron, his brother. I may have got the name wrong, I'm sorry. But we all know the story. And we all know Moses. We all know Moses when he died. He passed rulership down to his brother. And his brother down. You get many kings over Israel. Right. King David. Oh, there's so many people that ruled over the Israelites. They were all lost in the Satan. The Israelites don't grasp nothing. So they follow men lost in their Satan. And this is why Israel, even today, is fucked. It's a deep thing. I know many of you will say, man, I thought you said the Hebrew Israelite nationality is fake. It is. All nationalities is fake. And that's why I did that video showing y'all that Hebrew is immigrant and Israelite nationality is made up. Jacob's name was Jacob, not Israel. When he changed his name, he gave that name to the whole nation of people. You can't just change your name and then say, oh, I can't just wake up and say, oh, my children's nationality is Solicites. I'm not a Solicite, I'm black. What the fuck am I talking about? But I can do that if I want. And my kids can grow up lost and tell all their offspring, you're Solicites. That's a real nationality. And it will be a real physical thing in the life, but it's not real. I made it up. So this is my point. The Israelite nationality is fake, but it's a fake real thing, like all the fake real things we got. And according to the fake realness of it, Israel still don't have a home. You niggas are still scattered abroad all over the earth. Lost, dumb, following men lost in their Satan. Reading books of morality, thinking the book has a conscience. The book is a book of morality. He who hath an ear, meaning he who hath morality, will grasp. This is a book of test. A book of test of men. Men are the duality. The spirit and the flesh. And this is the battle that all men have with self. And that book is a book of that morality. And it shows you how every character in the book fell to the Satan. The name Satan changes to God and Lucifer and devil. And it tells you the devil tricked the whole world. He's tricksy. He's a liar. But men don't grasp. When they see God, they say, oh no, that's not the devil. The devil don't have a lot of different names and titles. You see how you become oblivious? The book told you everything you needed to know before you read it. The devil is tricksy. He likes to lie to people. He likes to rule over people. He likes to reach people through their selfish desires. So Eve, now am I saying there's a physical devil? No, the devil is the flesh. The physical desires and selfish desires man has. Now Eve, she was tempted by self. to eat what she didn't need to. You didn't need to eat, but you said, I'm eating anyway. Fuck that. And then you pass that shit on to others. So you don't just indulge in what you indulge in, but you pass that nature on to others. And it's a deep thing. The Bible is a book of morality. And if the reader reads it and he has no morals, he'll view everything in the book as good. And he'll say, this is the book of God and this is good. No. When you see God in its goodness, God is the life. This is why Jesus went to the wilderness, the forest, precious spirits. The life had nothing to do with God. The devil tempting him was God. The flesh. You think you special because you in the flesh and you individual. And you God to yourself. That's why men run around now and say, I'm God, peace God. Raise yourself more high than he be. Can't just be regular. It's a deep thing. Deep thing. But it's a book of morality. Men get lost so fast. Y'all all worship God because you have no morality. And being as though you worship God, anybody comes up against your invisible God, you don't have morality. You'll curse out, you'll slander, torment, even physically harm someone that you physically may know over your invisible God that you don't. Why? Because you have no morality. You don't reason with self. The Satan of self has completely taken over where there's no reasoning with self. You don't say, man, I know something ain't right. You read the stories in the Bible and you know, why is God telling them to kill and take land? But you overlook it. Some people don't even notice that part. They're like, no. God said. They don't even like weigh that out on the scale. The killing part, that's just normal to them. They have murderous spirits, so they don't even realize that part at all. When Noah let everybody die in the flood, people with murderous spirits, they don't realize that. They like, no. Noah ain't got nothing. You begin to justify for the fleshly evil acts. No, it's not Noah's fault. Ain't Noah's fault that a flood was coming. Floods always come. They should have had wisdom to know. You see how you begin to justify it? But if Noah knew, then he should have told everybody else. Morally, that would be the fair thing to do. If I know, save them all. Or don't save nobody, including myself. But he put himself separate from everybody. The Satan, the self. I'm going to save myself. Not them, because they bad. And they deserve to die. Because I made life. Now, we know Noah didn't make life, but that don't matter. Because he said God told him. See how he is? God told me this. I got this knowledge from the cosmos. That's God. God gave me this knowledge. Fuck them. He didn't give it to them. He gave it to me. God gave it to you because all is one. You your brother's keeper. You treat your brother as you want to be treated. So God don't need to give grass. When I say God, y'all know I mean the life. The life don't need to give everybody the same thing. The life don't need to give everybody wisdom. He could just give it to me. And then I got to give it out. Same with Noah. God don't got to give everybody wisdom on how to build submarines and know astrology. He gave it to Noah. Now, tend to your brothers. They're lost. Use this flood to change their ways. Save them and change them. Noah said, fuck them. I'm not changing them. I'm saving myself, and that's how I'm going to deal with this matter. Grasp the depths of the conscience of Noah. I'm not going to use this flood and my abilities to save them, to lead them into righteousness. Because if somebody's dying from a flood and you come along and save them, they will look at you as high and mighty, and you can use that power to influence them to be good and change the life that way, sparing everyone. But Noah said, nah, fuck that. And you know why Noah said fuck that? Because he got lost in the Satan, and he said, man, I could have the whole world to myself. And he took everything he needed. 2 of this and 7 of this. He took more than he needed. He took everything of the life for itself and put it in the boat and sailed off and said, bye, bye losers, die losers. Little babies crying, I'm dying. You bad. You supposed to die. It's a deep thing. But I want y'all to think on the depths of that. Because if Noah's real, then Noah's responsible for killing the whole world. How many men you know killed the whole world? Exactly. Hitler killed many. Hitler killed damn near a whole nation of people. But he didn't kill the whole world. Cold-blooded, man. You think Hitler ain't suffering? He killed millions. Now, grasp Noah. He killed the whole world. He was so lost in his Satan, he said, everybody could die. Noah didn't even save his own family. He only saved his direct. I'm saving my sons and my wife. My cousins, my uncles, my aunt. He didn't even save his own daddy. It is deep. Maybe his daddy might have died before the flood. I don't remember. But I don't know what didn't save none of his elders. He didn't save none of his family. Only his direct. Do y'all not see how lost he was? Y'all don't have morality. This is why when you're reading the book of morality, he who hath an ear, you don't have morality. You never weigh any of this on the balance. I know many of y'all are watching this in your Satan spirit and you're like, Silas thinks he cute, I hate him. I'm just trying to reach y'all, my lovely spirits. However, I know best to reach y'all. But I just want you to see how y'all don't weigh things on the balance. And that's the gist of it. I want you to grasp the book is separate from the religion. The books in this religious book, this is a religious book. But the books in this book have nothing to do with religion. They're books of the past that were just rounded together to make the book of morality, which is this. It's a secret book. You got to read it 100 times like the book of Thoth. And as your morality raises, things in this book will come forth to you that never came forth before. So had you had morality and you've been building up your morality all this time I've been teaching, you could have picked up the Bible and realized this on your own and said, oh, shit. Now, is that to say the Bible is bad? No, the Bible is a great book. I love it. I love all the books. But I tell y'all, y'all can't learn from books because y'all don't have no morality. You got to learn from life and get filled up with substance. It's like someone doing karate. Before they learn the physical ass-kicking moves, they have to learn spirituality, balance within self, lest they'll be running around beating everybody up. Same with y'all. Have no morality. So you can't grasp the book. The book is simple. If you have morality, you will receive an abundance of knowledge from it. If you don't have morality, you will fall subject to the God of the book, which is the Satan. So it's a deep book. It sorts out. This is the book of sorting souls. Grasp. If you have no morality, the book will sort you. If you have no morality, you will become subject to the God of this book, which is the Satan, and you will be a slave to that. And it is just because you read the book. The book is a scale. You have no morality, so the book aligns you with the moralist. And this is why you follow the Satan in the book. And you say, praise God, praise Jesus, blase, blase, because you're lost in the Satan. You have no morality to weigh a thing out. So the book served its purpose. I read the book. I have morality. So I understand everything and see everything in the book. Y'all don't. The book does not make me a slave to it. It just fills me up with an abundance of knowledge that I can take with me forever. For you, it makes you a slave to the God in the book. Why? Because you're like the God in the book. You have no morality. So you overlook. It's a deep thing. All is a test. He who has no morals will condemn himself. Grasp. You have no morals. So that's why you are under God's rulership and you're a slave in life. It's a deep thing. And it's just. This is why I don't come to free y'all from y'all religions. I should give you wisdom. And you use the wisdom to build up your morality and you free yourself. Simple thing. It's cold-blooded and deep. I told y'all everything in life y'all need to know. I told you that this is hell. I explained to you in detail how this is hell. I explained to you how your body is the hell. That's the last part of the hell. That's like the last chain of darkness. Flesh is darkness. It's a deep thing. I told y'all everything y'all need to know. I told you the sperm is the spirit. Worlds are bodies. The life is within the life. I gave you everything you needed to know to understand the sun. And anything you want. But y'all still pull for lies. It's cold-blooded. But it's fine, because he who has no morality, you'll be a slave for whatever you pull for. So the words I speak make no sense to you, because you have no morality. So, when Solomon says, man, eating is a sin and you should only eat 1 time, 2 times a day, you say that's stupid. And so you eat. And you fat and you sick. And you aren't that. I'm not fat. I ain't sick. I got morality. I don't eat as much as y'all. I don't get lost on talking about dumb shit. This is good for eating. That's good. I don't get lost on fool's talk. I have morals. That's all life. Eat as little as I need to, so that the life can have its life, the same way I have mine. Therefore, I don't have sickness and disease, and I'm not fat and obese or lazy. And there's some of you out there that watch my video and you say, he's bugging with this not eating thing, and so you're fat, and you don't have an ear. Meaning, he who has an ear has morality. You don't. So, you get what you earned. You say, Silas don't know what he's talking about. I can eat, and so you're fat and sick. Because it don't matter what you eat, it's going to make you fat and sick. Even the plants. Plants is high in carbon. Because all plants do is take in carbon dioxide all day and push out oxygen. This is how we breathe. They breathe out oxygen and take in carbon dioxide. So grass. When you eat a lot of plants, you build up a lot of carbon dioxide within self. And this is why a lot of people that's vegans and healthy eaters and they only eat plant-based food, they don't live very long. Start doing surveys on these things. You don't see what y'all call healthy living any longer than what you call not healthy. And it's my point. Y'all judge because you have no morality. And the life shows the truth. The vegan judges the meat eater and the vegan dies in the same way. Earlier. You see how the life works? You think you cute. Okay, you can be the example. The vegan thinks they're special. They say the animals are sacred. You can't eat that. Mind you, the trees and plants, they more sacred than the animals. Animals is lost spirits in hell, and they devour whatever they want. They more lost than man. But man say the animals are sacred. Don't eat them. Eat the plant. The plant is sacred. The plant don't take from none of the life. It just give of itself. Ain't nothing purer than that. And man want what's pure. So man will devour the good nature to spare the bad. And the vegan has no morality because it views the animal as above the plant. Doesn't view them as equal. And so the vegan can be blessed with high carbon levels and have acidosis and low blood pressure and all the things that come from that. Because it's a deep, cold-blooded thing. And I know a lot of y'all are vegans out there and y'all like, fuck you, Sally, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't have to know what I'm talking about because you know what you're talking about. And you going to do as you do. And so you going to get your glory when you die. I don't have to know what I'm talking about. I know you're going to die. I'm positive of that. You're going to die just like the meat eater. You're probably going to die before the meat eater. Because you have no morality. So you just indulge in one thing. It's like Jesus said to the devil. Man can't just sustain himself off bread. Because Jesus wise. can't just be beating up on one thing. You can't just be eating and sustaining yourself off one thing. Man is made of many things. Sodium, potassium, sulfur. Man is made of so many different elements. You can't just sustain yourself off one thing. You need different. You need variety. The life is here for you. Don't take advantage. All will be well. Man don't have no morality. Deep, cold-blooded thing. But I hope this video touched many of you lovely spirits' hearts. Christians as well as those that are not Christians. Because it's a deep, deep thing. Before I go, I want to say this. Man and no life on the land is supposed to eat fish or any seafood, grass. No man is supposed to eat fish or any seafood. Many of you will say, why? Because the life in the sea is for the life in the sea. And the life on the land is for the life on the land. Do you see the sea life coming on land? Taking our food? Greedy. You got the land. You want the sea. It's a deep thing. Let the sea life be for the sea life, and let the land life be for the land life, and stop being greedy in your nature. Explore life. You don't got to take every aspect of it. Man explore the seas, then he got to take the life from it. He can't just explore the seas and say, oh, this is beautiful, and then go back to his place, taking what he needs. No, man got to take what he wants. This is why wisdom is not good. The more wisdom and knowledge is bestowed upon a man, man gonna make it for the Satan, the self. This is why morality is important. But it's a deep thing. I know, I'm sure this video is not going to reach the multitudes like none of my videos do. And it's like I said, no one has morality anymore. It's a deep thing. It's the wise servant here, Mr. Solace. Peace and wisdom. Also, before I lose my train of thought, I'm changing my name. Well, I'm not changing my name. I'm just adding something to my name. Sunset. Sunset Solace. Because I always watch the sunset. But I spell it with a P. P-S-U-N-P-S-E-T. Pasumpset. Pasumpset Solace shall be my name forever in life. So there'll be no more changes from that. Pasumpset. And that's who I shall be from now on. Pasumpset, the solace. Because solace is truly just a title. It means to bring comfort in harsh times. So I am the solace. Anyone who learns under me and begins to learn from the life and teach, they'll title themselves solace also. A servant also. But my name is Pasumpset because we cannot use cheese. That's a past name of the person I was in the past. And that person is not separate from this person, but this person is just the fulfillment of that person. So don't get lost, but all the many names I have, like sex symbol solace, this is lost in ego talk. I do these things for this purpose, but all of those names have to be put to rest now. Why? Because I'm getting older spiritually and I have to keep moving forward. And I will use new ways to reach y'all. So I use the ego and the negative parts of self to reach y'all. Now I have to use different ways. I can't stay stuck, but hopefully you all grasp this teachings and this message that I bring to y'all. I hope y'all grasp that it's real. I'm not like the other teachers out there looking for a following, looking for views. I'm not looking for drama and all this goofy stuff to bring ratings. I do my videos like this, same setting, no one else around, peaceful, boring environment so that you can learn. And I let the wisdom and knowledge be entertaining in itself. No shenanigans, but just let the knowledge and wisdom be entertaining in itself. In my personality as a person, I let that hold you still and gravitate you towards me. Not the foolishness, because that's negative. But like I said, it's time for me to move along in spirit, mature more in spirit. So, like I said, the name is Pasunpaset, Sunset, however you want to pronounce it, but I spell it with a P. I have a video that I did where I actually titled it that, and that was the reason why I did that. But I just forgot to break that down at the end of that video, because I almost forgot to break it down at the end of this video. I'm glad I did. Finally caught it. But Pasunpaset Solace is the name. All with the P. And I like that. And I like you all. This is why I try to reach y'all. Y'all get on my nerves sometimes, but I understand y'all struggling spirits, and it's a journey. And I'm gonna stick with y'all for as long as I can before y'all truly aggravate me with y'all imbalances. But in the meanwhile, I'll keep the knowledge coming. In the meanwhile, you pull for balance, start giving and receiving, taking little actions to balance self out. Therefore, you can have morality, and you can grasp. The more morality you have, it will show in your actions. And this is when you will begin to receive wisdom and understanding. You can know all the things you want, but if you don't have understanding, then what you know is nothing. So it's a deep thing. But peace and wisdom, give and receive.